Got a big idea for undergraduate STEM education? Looking for the funding to really make it happen? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the National Science Foundation's huge program for improving undergraduate STEM education, or IUS for short. Okay, let's get right into it. So first things first, you need to know this program comes straight from the NSF. You know, the main federal agency that supports science and engineering research and education. So this isn't just any grant. It's a really competitive, really prestigious award. It shows a major national commitment to improving how we teach and learn STEM.
And right here, this is their mission. And I want you to notice the keywords. They're not just looking for small tweaks. The NSF is hunting for game changers, projects that are novel, creative, and truly transformative. They want to fund brand new knowledge that can totally reshape undergraduate STEM.
And believe me, they are putting some serious money behind that mission. We're talking about an anticipated $61 million available for new awards every single year. That level of funding is enough for dozens of really ambitious projects all over the country. It just shows you how important the IUSE EDU program really is.
So, to help you get a piece of that pie, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the big picture, then break down the two main project tracks. Look at the different funding levels, talk about what makes a winning proposal, and of course, we'll finish up with those all-important deadlines.
All right, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is this program all about?
You know, at its core, you can really think of it in three parts. It's about what we teach, bringing the latest and greatest STEM knowledge into the classroom. It's about how we teach, using methods that are actually proven to work. And it's about where that change happens, making sure the improvements stick at the institutional level.
Now, to make all this happen, the NSF has a really clear structure. And this is important. Every single proposal has to fit into one of two distinct tracks.
So choosing the right lane for your project is absolutely crucial. Is your idea really focused on the student experience, like new teaching tools, or curriculum, or resources? If so, that's the engaged student learning track. Or is it about changing the system itself, transforming an entire department or institution? That would be the institutional and community transformation track. The big question you have to ask yourself is, where is the center of your project? Is it with the student, or is it with the system? Let's dig a little deeper into that engaged student learning track. This is where you'd propose things like, say, a new curriculum based on active learning, or maybe a new technology for virtual labs, or a professional development program for faculty. The focus here is squarely on the tools and methods that directly impact students.
Now, on the other hand, the institutional and community transformation track is all about the big picture. Think about projects that redesign all the intro-level courses in a department, or create new ways to evaluate teaching, or even study how to make change last across multiple universities. If you're looking to change the whole system, this is definitely your track.
Okay, so once you've picked your track, the next big question is about scale. Just how big is your project, and how much funding are you going to need?
Now, what's really cool here is how the funding is tiered to match your project's ambition. For engaged student learning, projects scale from these exploratory Level 1 awards, which are up to $400,000, all the way up to $2 million for these massive Level 3 projects. The institutional track is pretty similar, but it also has this unique capacity-building grant, which is designed to just help institutions get started on their transformation journey.
All right, you've got your track. You've got your funding level in mind, so how do you actually write a proposal that gets funded? Well, the NSF highlights 5 absolutely critical components.
So, think of this as your 5-point checklist. First, have you done your homework? Is your project built on existing research? Second, how will you know if it's even working? You need a rock-solid evaluation plan for that. Third, what are you trying to learn? Your research questions have to be super clear. Fourth, how are you going to share your results? And finally, what happens when the money runs out? You have to have a plan for sustainability.
And this right here, this is a super important point that a lot of people miss. The NSF isn't just funding a bunch of isolated projects. They're trying to build a national knowledge base. Your proposal has to show how you're going to contribute to that bigger conversation. It's not just about what you'll do, it's about what the entire community is going to learn from your work.
And finally, let's talk about the most practical piece of the puzzle, the deadlines. The good news is this is a recurring program with a pretty predictable schedule.
So the program basically runs on a twice-a-year cycle. The third Wednesday in January is the deadline for the smaller, more exploratory proposals. That's Level 1 for both tracks, plus those ICT capacity-building grants. Then the larger, more complex proposals, we're talking levels 2 and 3, are due on the third Wednesday in July. What's kind of strategic about this is that you could start with a smaller proposal in January and then use what you learned to build a bigger proposal for a future July deadline.
And hey, here's a pro tip that could save you a world of stress. Proposals are due by 5 p.m. in the submitter's local time zone, okay? Not Eastern time, not Pacific time, your local time. You do not want to get tripped up by that on deadline day.
So there you have it, a quick guide to the NSF's IUSE EDU program. It is a massive opportunity to get funding for creative, impactful work. The only question left is, what transformative idea are you going to bring to the table?